Hey everyone, welcome to a episode of Progressive Pop Postmortem. Postmortem, yeah. So we're gonna start doing look backs on our latest episode and kind of address things that we noticed that we didn't address during our hour-ish podcast. Um, so the first one we're gonna do here is Clerks, which came out earlier this week. And we talked about how much Clerks touched on the working class, and had these moments of men sharing feelings, or at least talking a little bit about their feelings, which is true, but definitely it's just a start. It's not like these are emotionally available men and vulnerable. And I think that kind of leads into a big concept that we didn't talk about, which is fanboys, nerds, comic books, movies, games, all that kind of stuff. Went and saw Clerks or Kevin Smith's other movies and kind of developed this sense of superiority, or like it confirmed their idea that they talked smarter than other people, that they were these clerks and everyone else was the customer, which the movie addresses and says, hey, why do you think you're better than the customer? You're just a clerk. But I think a lot of us, especially when we're younger and teenagers, we don't pick up on those themes, and instead we walked away saying, yeah, we are better, we are smarter, we talk about pop culture in a different way than other people, we think about pop culture in a different way, or we're just not as weird, or if we're weird, we're quirky. And so we walked away with like these holier than thou asshole ideas, and sometimes, a lot of times, that's also coupled with misogynistic ideas and principles. And I think we watched that movie when we were younger and saw, uh, you know, the men still as at the center of the story, and the women being questioned about, their sexual history, what they did, who they were, if they cheated on people, uh, but not so much the men were like that. And so you had this separation between men and women, and a lot of us walked away thinking that women as this other being unique, which when you think of people as others, it almost automatically starts to um, feed into not them being different, um, and and just as good, just different, but being lesser than. And I think Clerks, we have to address that Clerks and this kind of nerd media does play into a lot of misogynistic tendencies in young men. And it takes a while for us to grow out of it or see it. And if not, we become neckbeards and incels, and all that bullshit. So that's something that definitely Tom and I missed when we were talking about Clerks in our latest episode, and we wanted to just like come out and have that discussion and make it known that Clerks is not. I think Clerks now, as a 30-something-year-old man who's had tons of experiences and has grown and worked at growing, and is continuing to work at it. Clerks has a different place than it did when I was 17 years old and had no idea what I was doing or who I was, and was insecure about being a Dungeons and Dragons player and a comic book nerd and a movie nerd. and I saw a lot of that saw a lot of that in the community of comics and movies and gaming. I wasn't super in the gaming world, but the others I was. Um, yeah, but you saw that uneasiness uh, get be that uneasiness was used to cherry pick movies like Clerks and say, yeah, I'm better than this. Yeah, women are this. Uh, yeah, they don't get me. I'm blah blah blah, and I'm going to start trying to talk like the characters in Kevin Smith's movies, which no one talks like that. Uh, but yeah, I think that's important to address, and I'd be interested to see how some people who were fans of Clerks back in the day and still are, or have rewatched it recently and maybe are not, how that's changed. That'd be interesting to see. I know how it's changed for Tom and I can hear it in the episode we created, but yeah. So that was the Clerks postmortem. I'm really bad with R's and L's. I went to a teacher for that stuff. But yeah, so these are going to be short, to the point, hopefully. Little addresses. We may stick on one important topic, but if other things come up, as we think about the episode afterwards, it may be more topics, but this Clerks is mostly about the neckbeard. I don't know what you would call it, like the neckbeard rising post Clerks. When people got a hold of that film. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.